Good afternoon, ma'am. This is Ashimi. I'm TUSING BCAE-III, and this is my oral video presentation. So, question number 1. Review the different characters in both novel, which is the Noli Me Tangere and El Filibusterismo. So, the characters are, first we have Crisostomo Ibarra, or Simon. Simon represents the filibustero in the novel, wherein he encourages the upper class to commit abuses against the masses to encourage the latter to revolt against the oppressive Spanish colonial regime. And next, we have Maria Clara. She is a mestiza and a childhood sweetheart of Crisostomo Ibarra, who represents the purity and innocence of a sheltered native Filipino woman during the Spanish occupation. Next, we have Doña Victorina. She is a socialite and a friend of Captain Santiago, who sought to associate himself with the influential figure of Santiago in order to gain further social status. She represents those who have a distorted view of their identity. And next, we have also Paulita Gomez. So Paulita Gomez, she is a caricature of a woman who chooses the best option for a more suitable future. She knows what is the best for her and would take advantage of her admirers to get what she wants. Next, we have Ben Zaib. He is a journalist with an inflated sense of intellectualism and self-importance. He thinks that he is the only thinking head of Manila. Next is Father Camorra. He was a friar with a particular predilection for a young woman. Next is Padre Damaso. He represents all typical friars in that time, who is shamelessly corrupt and hungry of power. He is a brash and arrogant individual. Next, we have Captain Tiago. He represents the rich Filipinos who oppress their fellow Filipinos in exchange for the influence and the riches that they might gain from their powerful associations. Next is Basilio. He is the son of Sisa and a very promising medical student. He represents the young educated Filipinos who are apathetic to the needs of society. Next is Isagani. He is the nephew of Padre Florentino and the lover of Paulita Gomez. He symbolizes the youth who, despite their being very aggressive and idealistic, cannot be relied on in the times of adversity. Next is Huli, Basilio's sweetheart. She represents the Philippines, which would rather suffer with pride and honor. She chooses death over the loss of honor and dignity. Next, we have Cabeza Tales. He is the father of Huli. He symbolizes the natives of the former whose lands were seized by the friars. Next is Father Irene. He is a kind of friar who is a friend of Filipino students. He represents the few Spaniards who are sympathetic to Filipinos. Placido, Panetente, and Pixon. They are the students who work for educational reforms. They represent the Filipino who have yet to cultivate their nationalistic attitude. Next, we have Senior Pasta. He is an old Filipino lawyer who refuses to help the Filipino students in their claim of educational reforms. He represents the part of the society that is only generous and sympathetic to the rich and powerful. Next is Elias. He represents the common Filipino who is not only aware of the injustices done to their countrymen, but would also like to deliver them from the oppressors. He is said to be the personification of Andres Bonifacio. And last but not the least, we have Crispin. He represents the innocents who have been wrongly accused of the crime they did not commit. So, for question number 2, compare and contrast the characters, plot, and the theme of Noli Me Tangere and El Filibusterismo based on the summary provided. So, Noli Me Tangere and El Filibusterismo are the two marked novels of our national hero, which is Dr. Jose Rizal, which are similar and different in some ways. The two novels are similar primarily in their author, which is Rizal. So, another is the way that they both talk about how Spaniards abused the Filipinos, the abuse of the church, of their power and discrimination of Filipinos. Both Noli and El shows strong anti-clerical and even anti-Catholic color. They convey one story because the letter is published in a sequel or continuation. However, they are different in many cases. Firstly, Noli Me Tangere, Latin title meaning, which is touch me not, which is refers to the letter of John 20:17. In King James Version of the Bible, as Mary Magdalene tried to touch the newly risen Jesus, he said, "Touch me not, for I am not yet ascended to my Father." And then meanwhile, El Filibusterismo is a Spanish title which is known in English as the Reign of Greed. So, Noli is a love story or a romantic novel dedicated to a modern end, while El Fili is a political novel associated with our revenge, anger, and dedicated to Gumbursa. The first is more on action and motion. The latter is truthful, discursive, and dialectal. Noli showed a soft-spoken, patient, compassionate, and idealistic Crisostomo Ibarra, while El Fili featured a different Ibarra who portrayed the angry and vengeful side of him and disguised himself as a wealthy jeweler named Simon. Noli is written in the idea that would expose the ills of Philippine society after Harriet Beecher Stowe's Uncle Tom's Cabin. In general, Noli is more reformist sides of Rizal, while El Filibusterismo is revolutionist. The theme of Noli Me Tangere seems to expose the exploitation committed by the Spaniards, friars, and the government officials, while the theme of El Filibusterismo is focuses on the inevitable revolutions and whether or not the Philippines should rebel peacefully and diplomatically or violently.